All right, so I knew I was right. I researched the Filipino Bigfoot. It's a giant ape-like creature, and it's called, what's it called? The Capre?
Yeah,
Capre. And it's kind of a superstitious legend.
Yeah,
And
story about that.
and then this is interesting. I've never heard this before. It smokes a big cigarette.
Maybe.
That's what
Maybe
some people say.
That's they say.
Okay.
Spokesman.
Is it nice to people, or is it scary?
Scary.
Okay, so it can hurt people.
Maybe.
Where does it live? Does it live like way out in the jungle, the mountain?
The mountain and the big tree.
Okay.
It's like,
They call it baliti.
we call it baliti. Yeah.
Felipe.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's called the Capre.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna research it. Thank you.
Yeah. Just research.
Greetings all from the Philippines. Living in Alaska, you need to get away, absolutely. And we've had a super cold winter. It's been depressing. Temperatures sometimes approaching negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit there in Anchorage. That's why I haven't been outside doing my campfire stories for the last few weeks, 3 or 4 weeks really, because of how incredibly cold it was. We had that below zero snap. So I'm out here in the tropics. I'm loving it. And shout out to all the viewers out there. I'm sorry I missed a week there, but hope to get back to regular Sunday morning Bigfoot and paranormal videos. So I wanted to talk about the Capre. Now the Capre, I couldn't tell if it was Visaya or Tagalog because it's mentioned in both. There is another word, starts with an M, for the Bigfoot in the Philippines, but there is a fairly rich history, legendary history of a Bigfoot creature in the Philippines, which is really interesting. It is very steeped in the culture, and the people are very polarized on the topic. Half the people, or even more than half the people, would become irritated if you bring up the Capre. Whereas, they say, oh, that's superstitious. It is a very religious country here. So I think that's part of it. And they say it's an old, children's tale to scare children. While the other half, which, are 40%, 30%, which tend to be people who live in the more rural communities, which makes sense to me, say, yes, this is a true thing that my grandfather and my grandmother told me, and it does exist. I do believe in the Capre. So the Capre is a large ape-like creature, at least 7 to 10 feet tall, black, hairy, ape creature, but very human-like. Here's the weird thing. The Capre wears a loincloth a lot of the times, like a traditional loincloth that some indigenous members might have wore in ancient times here. And it smokes a giant cigarette, sometimes called a cigar here, or just like a big tobacco bundle, which is weird because that is a very human element. And talking with Rob Roy Menzies, in North America, we tend to not see Bigfoot, Sasquatch create fires, and Rob had heard some legends where in certain areas some Native Americans have kind of gone to war with the Sasquatch. Rob had heard, and for that reason the Sasquatch stopped making fires and stopped using fires to kind of keep a lower profile and go more underground. Now in some areas I don't believe that, because the Sasquatch is still steeped in certain cultures, and a big part of the culture they have respect for it. But in some areas, it does make sense to me. Now here, that would imply that the Capre has a very human-like intelligence, is able to acquire tobacco. I don't know if he's doing trading or stealing it, or it's kind of weird, and able to light a fire to light this cigar. Now, there's also a very supernatural element to the Capre here in the Philippines, which is interesting because he is able to fade in and out of existence. Sometimes can harass people depending on what they do, punish them for bad decisions. A lot of times it's a negative creature. Sometimes he can be good. There was a famous president here decades ago that kept having these experiences with the Kapre. Now the Kapre likes the forest. It likes big trees. Sometimes I forgot the word for it, but these mangrove style trees with these weird vine-like roots. So that's where the Kapre lives, in the thick, dense forest. Now, I believe if the Kapre does exist, it is in a very small population, that it's, I mean, there's so many humans here. There's been so, they've spread out so much that I don't think there's a big population of Kapre. But in some areas, some mountainous, jungle-like island areas, there aren't many people because it's very difficult terrain. That's where I think the Kapre would be found. So just like the Yiran of China and of course the Tibetan, Yeti, I think this is a global phenomenon. It's very mysterious, the Kapre here in the Philippines. I think it does exist, but it is a mystery that's somewhere caught between the spiritual realm, superstition, and what may be an actual ape creature. Because there's monkeys here. There's little spider-like monkeys hanging out in the trees. So there's still these monkey ape creatures here. I think it is possible that the Kapre exists, but like I said, people are very polarized on it, and many people will be like, no, that's a joke, that's a kid's tale. But I like to believe that it does exist in some of the areas that are very far out. So there you have it. Please let me know in the comments if you have any information on the Kapre. Fascinating subject that I was not aware of, and the whole fact that he smokes a cigar, to me, is pretty crazy. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll try to have another Bigfoot video out next Sunday.